Today we're going to focus on the 10 Commandments, and let's start off with an easy question. What is the first commandment? This isn't a trick question. We see it clearly in Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. You shall have no other gods before me. Now, if you ask Christians the obvious question that stands out in this passage, you'll likely get the same answer. Who are these gods? The answer is typically, well, they are talking about idols. But hold up, let's look at verse 4. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Most people assume the first commandment is just about rejecting idols, but if that were true, wouldn't it just be one commandment? So, who are these other gods? To understand, we have to look at the Hebrew word Elohim. When translated to English, this word does mean God. But oftentimes in the Bible, we see the Hebrew term b'nai in front, which actually gives you the sons of God. This plurality indicates that we're talking about God's spiritual family. But what does this have to do with the 10 Commandments? Most Christians are very familiar with the Tower of Babel, but we learn something very important in Deuteronomy that we do not see in Genesis. In chapter 32, the Bible tells us that when the nations were divided at Babel, God put his spiritual beings in charge of geographical regions. These spiritual beings were given authority over the nations. While this might sound unbelievable, this explains why so many ancient civilizations worshipped so many unique deities. So what are idols then? In the ancient world, people believed that these idols were homes for their gods. That's why idols often had hollow spaces or openings. They were seen as vessels that would be inhabited by a deity. So, if an idol was destroyed, the people didn't think the deity was killed. They believed it had lost its physical dwelling place. So what would they do? They would build a new idol, apologize to the god for letting its dwelling get destroyed, and invite it back. This wasn't about the statue at all. It was about the spiritual being they believed could enter it. So what's the point? At the end of the day, while related, these commandments are not the same. The first warns against spiritual infidelity, while the second condemns the practice of crafting physical representations to manipulate and worship these spiritual beings. Thanks for stopping by today. If you enjoyed this, make sure to check out my page for more content. And just remember to keep studying that scripture.